Now you know about the Lamborghini and Volvo. Now you know about Sensible. Now you know about Dollar Shave Club. And you can now see a pattern as you're going through these. And now I'm going to give you another one that you can compare and contrast. Because it's clear, the numbers, data shows, the more times you're an entrepreneur, the more likely your odds are to be successful. But it's hard to be an entrepreneur. But what I'm trying to do is give you that experience in rapid fire by going through these situations and giving you common truth amongst them. So there was a question that you said everyone would have. And what was that question, sir?
Yeah, so we have a lot of steps ahead of us.
Yes.
And I think we don't have a clear idea how to pursue. I mean, what would be the business that we would pursue? And that gives us a bit of fear. What if we get it wrong from the beginning? And we need to do so much work just to discover we started out wrong.
Okay, so first of all, you all have teams, right? Yep. You don't have your ideas yet, do you? No. And when are you going to come up with your ideas? Tonight. Okay. So here's what you need to do. You need to come up with an idea, and then you need to go back and do market segmentation, then beachhead market, then target customer profile, then TAM, then all these things. This is what I'm giving you, and you're going to iterate within that. And here's the thing is, when you go through it, you are not going to build a company in the next 5 days. I probably shouldn't tell you that, because you should want to try to build a company in the next 5 days, and people have actually done it. But the odds are you're not going to. But that doesn't mean every single person in this room won't benefit extraordinarily, because we're trying to teach you how to fish. And one of the best things you can do is go through, when you're writing software, you write the whole software, be it Hello World or whatever, and then the best thing you can do after you write the software the first time is throw it out. And then rewrite it the second time with all the knowledge you have in your head. That's why the second time around, entrepreneurs are much more successful than the first time, because you go through it. And that's not just data. That's actual. That's my situation. My first startup. You think I know all this stuff? You're so wrong. If you believe that, I know this stuff because I screwed it up. My first company, called Cambridge Decision Dynamics, is in deep, deep stealth mode. Do you know what that means? You do know what it means, right? That failed, right? So what I'm trying to do is step you through this stuff. You should have some fear, but here's what we want you to do is go through the steps, and then you'll be amazed on Friday, or when do you present? On Saturday? Friday. I just did this at MIT, and I did it for a similar thing like this for people from 38 countries, I think, around the world. It was awesome, and they were so worried. It starts. It's a little different, this program. It's much more expensive, this program. But we love you all. You're all beautiful and unique in your own ways. Snowflakes, every one of you. But it starts out, and then by Wednesday, they're ready to kill each other. And I'm like, trust the process. And then by Friday, they're like so excited. They're like hugging each other. They're like, we got to go on vacation together. And and it all comes together. You got to trust the process here and just keep going through it. It's not going to be perfect, but here's what will screw it up if you don't keep moving. And the beautiful thing about the boot camp is you just have to keep moving, because there's a bunch of stuff that's due. And you know what? If it's wrong, then you fix it. And the second time through, it is much easier than the first time through. You're from Romania, right? Yeah. So the first language you learn is quite hard, right? Yeah. So if you learn Spanish, that might have been hard. But once you've learned Spanish, is it easier to learn French? It's much easier, right? And that's what I have in our program that we just did in our classes. People get halfway through the semester and they blow up their idea because it's just not good and they're not passionate about it. And then they start it again, and the second time through, it's much, much faster. Oh, by the way, you'll learn a lot more if that's what you do this week. I'm not telling you should do it, because it will create an enormous amount of stress. But you will learn a lot if you go to Wednesday and go, all right, let's blow it up and start over again and do it a second time. You will learn a lot. And that's the goal here. Your goal should be, the second biggest goal you should have this week is to learn everything you can. Educate yourself on all the knowledge you're going to get. You know what the #1 priority is this week? You should get to know everybody in this room, because these people will help you enormously. And I'm going to talk about that tomorrow. You want to get to build a network of people that you can work with. And they know the common language. They've been through Lamborghini and Volvo. They've been through Sensible. They've been through Dollar Shave Club. They know these truths, and they'll help you when you go through. All right. Now, let's go to the next one. How do you know to build a core? What can you uniquely do for your customers? This is step 10 and 11 that we talked about, right? He captured lightning in a bottle. But what if he had a core? Oh my God, that would have been like much, much better. How was it that Chewy came up with a core? What was their core? We're going to do a simple exercise here, all right? So again, this is the core, the crown jewels, and then moats are these things that are around here. And there are going to be strong moats and weak moats. But Dollar Shave Club didn't. Remember Groupon? They were on fire there for a while. Did they have a core? Nope. And while Google offered to buy them for $6 billion, I remember when this happened, and this goes to this point, I was like, oh my God, Google's offering $6 billion. And I talked to one of the investors. I said, you should be selling. And he said, we want to sell. The founders just won't sell because they were believing their own bullshit. And yes?
Would you say that they had network effects because they had the market on both sides? They had people coming there for discounts?
Not as sustainable. The one side of the market, restaurants, didn't like it because they were getting hosed. You know, and the other people, what was your, you know, you didn't care. You just wanted to get a deal, and then you show up at the place, and now all of a sudden the restaurant. So it was a network, but not a sticky network. All right, but we talked about this stuff. I want to, you know, let's just look at some of the people. Walmart, their value proposition to you is low cost, which really means low price. People go to Walmart. You don't have Walmart, do you? How many of you know what Walmart is? Everybody knows Walmart. Okay. They sell at a low price. That is why you go to Walmart. You don't go there to get high quality. They have the same product that they have someplace else, be it Gillette razors or a Schwinn bicycle or someplace else. You go to Walmart because it's cheap.
And convenient. This is open 24/7.
Yeah. That is not their, with all due respect, ma'am, it's not what people think about when they think about Walmart. I don't wake up in the middle of the night and go, I'm going to Walmart because it's open 24/7. You go because they offer you low price. And we're going to hammer this point home later, what that value proposition means and does not mean. And if that's going to be your value proposition, do some people like that? Hell yeah. If it's a commodity, people like that. And if that's going to be your core, you better be vicious. You better be able to go anywhere in the world. You better have a purchasing department that will squeeze people. Your costs need to be super, super low. I just saw my friend who was working for an investment bank. By the way, for those who don't know, I went to Harvard, and it's something I have to live with my entire life. So people go, you always make fun of Harvard people. What if there was someone in the room from Harvard? It's like, dude, I went to Harvard. They're like, you make fun of old white guys. Yeah? So this guy I went to Harvard with and played basketball with, he became an investment banker. And to be an investment banker on Wall Street is like you just opulent. I mean, you've seen these things. And so they go out and do these deals, and they're all dressed up, and he's working at First Boston, which is a very high-end one. And they're trying to get the business from Walmart. So Walmart doesn't come to them. They have to go to Walmart. So they have to go down to Bentonville, Arkansas. Has anybody ever been to Arkansas here? Where are you from? Yeah. Yeah, I guess it's an upscale Oklahoma in Arkansas. You know it. And, but it is not glamorous in Bentonville, Arkansas. And they're not moving from Bentonville, Arkansas. So they go down there, they get their private jet, they fly down to Bentonville, and they put on this great presentation with all the PowerPoints in this very sparse room, and they're just getting by. And they say, well, let's go wine them and dine them at lunch. And it comes to lunch, and they say, all right, we're bringing lunch in to save time. And they're like, oh, well, what are we going to have? And southern barbecue or something. And believe it or not, it was the wives of the executives. This is not mine. I'm not condoning sexism. But their wives had made sandwiches, like white bread, Wonder Bread sandwiches. And they bring them in the room for these people. And it gets better. So they're sitting there with like paper plates. These guys are from Wall Street. They're used to like going out for 3 martini lunches with filet mignon and everything. And here they are with a paper plate with a sandwich on it. And they go, so that's lunch. And by the way, if you want a drink, we'll give you some change because there's a vending machine down the hallway. True story. So what's going on here? What's going on? Their value proposition is they need to provide low prices to their customers, so they must keep costs at an absolute bare bones because that's their competitive advantage. And so they are living their competitive advantage and indicating that to everybody. It's not just they're doing it, they're making sure that everybody else knows it. Because if you want to deal with Walmart, your costs better be really freaking low, right? And by the way, there's some people who enter markets often as low cost. And this is regions that do this. And if that's what you want to do, guess what? You live by the sword, you die by the sword. Because people are buying your product because it's low cost, and it's really easy to tell. And if that same product is somebody else's and they have low cost, how long will your customer stick with you? As long as it takes to click on that other one, right? And so you have to have vicious purchasing departments. You have to have global logistics where you can go to get this stuff where it's going to be the cheapest in the world. And that's what you have. That is the fundamental core of what Walmart is. When you look at Honda, Honda is like an amazing company. I love Honda. Where's my friends from Japan? Are you the only one from Japan? Yeah. So Japan has been amazing in my lifetime. They've gone from weed whackers, little motors on the end of sticks to whack weeds, to making aircraft engine and robots and everything else. And how the heck do they do that? How the heck do they do that? Because people love Honda products because they're so reliable. They're so reliable. And why are all Honda products so reliable? Because driving the Honda product is a motor. No Honda product that you see that's meaningful to them, be it robots, be it lawnmowers, be it cars, airplanes, is not driven by the motor. Everybody, you can do all the other stuff, but a Honda motor, that's the freaking gold standard, right? That's their core. And they've developed that over a long period of time. Here's where things get interesting, and we've talked about multi-sided markets. eBay. Why is eBay so great? Because it's the best place to buy something if I want to buy. Because if I go there, there's more people selling. Now, if I want to sell, it's the best place to sell because there's lots of buyers there. And this is what's called network effects. It's a positive reinforcing feedback loop. The more buyers there are, the more sellers want to be there. The more sellers are there, the more buyers want to be there. And it's this virtual feedback loop that goes up. And this gives you that dramatic separation from other people. This is why Facebook is so successful. This is why LinkedIn is so successful. Because once you have it, more people want to go there. The more people go there, the more demand, the more supply, and it keeps going on. Gillette, we talked about availability with sufficient quality. They dominate the distribution channel. This is why they could not just imitate Dollar Shave Club, because that was their strength. And we could go on with these. It's not you have your value proposition, and then you have to figure out how your core supports that value proposition. So again, it has to be unique, it has to be important, it has to grow over time. And a lot of times people say, oh, my core is key customers. Is that really a core? No. It's a moat. I've got good customers, but the contract comes up, somebody else can get them, right? It's good to do this. We call this customer IP. Get a long-term contract with a customer. That's a moat. That's hard for somebody else to break, but they can break it at some time. We're good at user experience. Are you really good at user experience? Why are you better than anybody else at user experience? That you can't just say that. You really, really have to support that with a whole bunch of other things. Yes?
In the case of eBay, what's your beachhead market, buyers or sellers?
What was the beachhead market for eBay, first of all? Do you know?
I know that the eBay started off as like a general website where the auction tab was just one of many.
Yeah, but it got traction with one particular market. Do you know? Does anyone know?
It was collectibles. I can't remember what they were.
That's right. So, do you know?
Are those lollies in the little thing?
Yeah, they're called Pez, P-E-Z. Yeah, you can look this up. So Pez. So once they got that, that was the kickstart. That was their viral video to kickstart them. That was their beachhead market that brought them above all the other kind of websites that were going to do it.
Oh, that's right. There was like Seinfeld resurrected Pez, and then everybody wanted.
Yeah. So Pez was that beachhead market for you. And once it gets started, Pez people started sharing, this is where you do it. And then all of a sudden, oh, other people, other people. So all of a sudden it takes off, right? And you have to kickstart that. Usually on these two-sided markets, it's demand, because you can usually get supply. But it's not always. It's not always. And they have to go up in parallel. Think of Uber. You can't have too many people who want Uber and the wait lines are long. You got to have drivers, and then you got to have this thing build up, right?
You have to attend both sides at the same time.
Yeah, yes, but you have to get kick-started. By the way, another one, what was I think I did this in the book, the Pinterest. I talked about that in the book, right? Pinterest, yeah. So I went to Pinterest, and they had no idea what was going on. There was 1 million photo swapping sites. Pinterest took off because women who were getting married started posting their dresses, their floor, and then other women started going, oh, I want to see that. Oh, good ideas. They weren't making money. They had no idea what they were doing, to be honest. This is one where sometimes you succeed because of yourself, and sometimes you succeed in spite of yourself. This is one, in retrospect, you can see why they succeeded, because here you had women who were about to get married, looking at other women's floral arrangements, dresses, all this stuff. And is that a good market? They didn't know how to monetize it at that point. But people were literally coming through their doors in Palo Alto and saying, I will write a check for you right now. Will you take my money? And why was that? That's right. The wedding industry is a huge market that people are going to spend money very, very soon in a completely irrational way, right? Like when you're getting married, it's a $30,000, $50,000, and you're going to spend it within like a year? Yeah, I want access to that. I want access to that demographic, psychographic. I can make a lot of money off that. So, two-sided markets, how it works. Let's just go to another one here. Cost, we talked about speed. People say this stuff, and that's like, what do you mean? Let's talk about user experience for a second. There was a company called Zappos, and Zappos did succeed not by being low price, not by being, by being the best quality. They had the same products as everybody else. They totally bought in to user experience, making just a delightful experience. And that came from the very top to every single thing they did. In training, they would pay people off to leave the company. They'd say, we've gone through training, here's $5,000, anyone who will leave the company right now will write you a $5,000 check. Walk right out that door, someone will give you a $5,000 check. We do not want anyone here who is not going to delight customers. And everything they did was targeted towards that. But that was a risky bet that was seemingly not that easy to protect, but it worked because there was total commitment to it. Yes?
I have a really practical question here. I have a business, it's an e-commerce business. It's been built on the Zappos culture, but you have this dilemma. There are a lot of people that find out about ourselves. They're not in the beachhead market,
Yeah?
and we have to service them even more time-wise
Yeah.
as we do for the customers in the beachhead
Yeah.
market.
And they're just sucking you dry, right? Your cost of customer acquisition is not lined up with your LTV.
Yeah.
This is, yeah. We can talk about that later, but that's not going to work. I mean, that's like, you can say you want to be like Zappos, but you have to find those customers and service those customers. And when the other ones come in, you have to figure out how do you not handle those, right? So I'm sorry, a lot of these questions require 5-minute answers, and I just have to keep moving here. All right, so let's go to, we've talked about this, how the core supports your value proposition, and then you're going to develop a resource plan to support your core. And if you get a good core, all the competitors are kind of over here, and they want to get over to this side where that's what customers want. There's much more value for your customers along the things that they care about most. But none of these other people can get there because this is your core. It's the big bad person that won't let these other people get over there. All right? So we went through this. Let's have some fun. All right? This is the worksheet from the workbook. What's the value proposition for this company I'm about to show you? What assets do they have? And what do you think the moats they could have for this business? And what are the potential cores? All right? So this is some former students. And they're based in Edinburgh. And again, a real business. And this should be fun for you. They go on a show called Dragon's Den. Do you know what Dragon's Den is?
It's called Shark Tank here.
Called Shark Tank. So think of Shark Tank with a bunch of pretentious English people on it. All right? What's that? No. It's redundant, but I just want to emphasize that for those who might not understand. And here's the company. It is called Cheeky Chompers. Great stuff that helps. I got to get a better. Okay. So when you go through this, think about what assets does Cheeky Chompers has, what are the potential moats, and what's a good core. All right, so let me just plug this in here. Bear with me. We love our videos, right? That keeps you awake.
Our next entrepreneurs think they've found the solution to a well-known parenting problem. Babies putting things in their mouths, and mum and dad looking for something clean and safe for their little ones to chew on. But will their invention soothe or simply cause tantrums amongst the dragons?
Hi, I'm Julie and this is Amy, and we're from Cheeky Chompers. We're here today to look for £70,000 investment for 10% equity in our company. Cheeky Chompers launched our first product, the Necker Chew, 11 weeks ago. The Necker Chew is the world's first chewy dribble bib for teething tots. No longer do we need to pick up, retrieve and re-sanitize dropped teethers because this one's attached.
The initial idea came out of necessity. When Julie and I had our babies, we'd spend half our time picking up and retrieving dropped and dirty teethers. So it was a simplicity in our initial idea that was so appealing. Why not create a teether that stays attached to the baby?
This is a great investment for the Dragons because it's a brand new product, combining two already popular baby products together into one special offer to fill a gap in the market.
In the first 11 weeks, we've sold 1,800 bibs. We have signed up 14 independent retailers, and we've also signed up 8 national UK retailers. We have one distributor already lined up, and we're in discussions with others in different countries.
So it's been a fantastic start in our first 11 weeks. Thank you for listening, and we look forward to taking some questions.
Do people understand? I know it's a Scottish accent. At this point, I usually pass out, but I couldn't bring all, I have a whole stack of these things in my office at MIT, but I couldn't bring them. Do you understand what it is? Yes. It's a bib with a little teether on it. can someone explain it in Australian terms?
It's a bib and babies chew on toys. They drop the toys on the ground, so instead of a baby picking up the toys on the ground, it's attached to their bib. And they stick it in their mouth and bite it.
Everybody got that? And they call them teethers, because like when you're teething, your teeth are coming out, you put these in the baby's mouth. Okay?
A persuasive pitch from this Edinburgh-based pair. They're looking for £70,000 for a 10% stake of their dribble bib business. But Piers Linney is curious as to why the entrepreneurs have valued their startup so highly.
So you say it was made from necessity. It was something that you couldn't have lived without. So I've got 2 children and we've lived without it so far. So the question is it a business? And also, is it a business worth, £700,000 post-investment?
Our projections are that we'll turn over 147,000 in year 1, 250,000 in year 2, and 375,000 in year 3.
If you make those figures, I'll eat 100 of your teethers and bibs.
Fantastic.
Without salt.
Would you pay for them?
You wouldn't need me to pay for them because you've made a fortune. It's absolutely crazy.
Well,
to think you could make that sort of money.
So our projections are based on the sales that we've already had. I mean, we've only been trading for 11 weeks.
You're valuing your business against a 3-year forecast, and you're valuing it in 3 years' time at 2 times revenue. You're delusional.
Yeah, we've had some fantastic big orders this week, which we felt really
It doesn't
reflected on
matter. Your business is today potentially not even worth £100,000.
We've been trading for 11 weeks. We've had to take what's happened to us within this 11 weeks and the future orders that we've now got on the books and the
Yeah, but to encourage somebody to invest in your business, you can't say that you're going to get the value that I'm asking you to invest in today, but you'll get that value back in 3 years if we're mega successful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I think our projections are quite conservative, though, Peter, given what's happening to us at the moment. I mean, literally every day we're getting so much more.
But your projections are about as useful as a ladder for a carpet fitter.
The response from parents and things has been phenomenal. You should see every day we must get 20 photographs of babies chewing. So I think for us, that feeling of...
You see, every day is Yuri. We get people coming in here saying the response from my customers has been fantastic. People want it. Everybody wants it. I can't sell enough. I can't make enough.
But not many people in 11 weeks have kind of come to where we've come with more on the cards.
Everybody that comes in here has.
I'm sure they say that, but...
Everybody comes in here has.
Did everybody catch that? That totally condescending attitude. And that's as useful as a ladder for a carpet fitter. Did you understand that?
Duncan Bannatyne and Peter Jones are far from impressed at Julie and Amy's unswerving optimism. But to make matters worse, Deborah Meaden wants to drill down further into the issue of sales.
Can we talk about orders?
Yes.
If you've actually got orders from these companies, I mean, that might be the answer. So how about you take the veil away and actually tell us who and the size of those orders, what those deals are?
Right. Well, at the moment, we've got 8 national retailers. So the first one is Bentols, Phoenix. We have John Lewis, Waitrose,
Jojo, Mama,
Amazon,
Baby.
all who think this premium product has a real market. And
Now, Deborah's question was unveiled that
the
what's
orders,
the cost?
the orders,
Okay.
the value.
So the 3 orders that have just come in, because we are new, we're being set up. So John Lewis initially said that we had to supply through a wholesaler, which we don't. They're now
Ladies, just give us the value of the orders, because you're
don't
down.
know,
so
because
for John Lewis, we don't know. Literally,
So it's not an order?
They're setting us up as a supplier. So
Okay, that is very different.
By July. She wants us to be in all the stores by July.
That is very different. Have you got any orders?
No, we only have confirmation from her that she's going to place an order and that she's setting us up.
So
as
that was a little bit...
We've got orders from Jojo Mama. We have 250 of each of 2 lines.
What's the total value of your orders?
Well, it's difficult to tell because in 11 we're at the moment.
Okay, 250. Jojo, you've only got 1 order by the sound
No,
of it.
we've got Phoenix and Bentols which were delivered.
Well, then say.
The one order that we have those orders in Phoenix and Bentols and Jojo, but the one order we have is from a distributor, and that's for 3,600 pieces for the Benelux. So that's a significant order, which comes to about £17,000. So that's an order.
This is important stuff, girls. If we haven't dragged it out of you, you'd been sitting there going, yeah, but my company's worth a fortune. You know, that's an order. So you've got an order from £17,000 to a distributor. That's quite important.
A breakthrough for the Edinburgh duo as they finally start to justify their company's valuation. So will that be enough to persuade any of the dragons to part with their cash?
You know, at the end of the day, you've got some very good orders there.
Well, let me just short circuit. I'll just tell you what happens is, no, nobody invests. And they get insulted some more, here's what I'd like you to do. I'd like you to think about the business now and analyze the business and try to think, you know, is there a core here, right? And we have that sheet. And by the way, unfortunately, I could not bring, I could have, I guess, if I wanted to check luggage, but I'm not going to check luggage. I couldn't bring the products, but you can look on their website. And I'd like you to as a team, think about what assets do they have, what potential moats are there, and what ideas do you have for a core for Cheeky Chompers. And you can use this kind of format. We don't have worksheets for them. What's their value proposition? What assets do they have? What's their proposed moats? And what could you think of anything for a core? By the way, this is not easy, just to be clear.
When were they your students?
After this came out. After this came out. But don't worry, the exercise I love this exercise because it's every single person in this room should be able to understand the product. And if I gave it to you, it's a neckerchief. It's this thing that's a bib. It looks really good, and you clip it on the back of the baby, and then they can just chew on it, and when they don't want it, it comes down. It looks fantastic. Let me tell you a few other things. It sells through all these places, and it's selling at a major premium. Have you pulled it up? Yeah. So you all should pull it up and look through and look at the neckerchief. And it's really very interesting. And if I put it in your hands here, as I usually do, I lose about 10 to 20% of them because they amazingly grow little feet. I don't know how this happens, and they run away after every time I pass them out.
I'm like, my nephew uses them, and they're actually quite, because they're quite heavy, they're hard to lose.
Yeah.
And we lose a lot of people.
Yeah. But they're very popular. Here's the point. And when you go to a place like John Lewis, some knockoffs came out, and they're still selling. The knockoffs might cost, you might even see them in there, like 4 or 5 pounds, and they're still selling for like 20 pounds. They might have seen some pricing. So they're getting a huge premium over other people who now are making knockoffs of theirs. Okay? So there's two other things I just want to tell you that are relevant here. Is they are interested in making a company, not just being a one-trick pony product. Julie and Amy are very capable, and they're not just want to be known as the neckerchief women. They want to have a company called Cheeky Chompers. And anytime you look at something, it could be a feature, it could be a product, it could be a company. So for Cheeky Chompers, they could have just been a feature. They could have licensed out this idea of putting something on the bottom of a bib to other people, and then they kind of could have basically almost called it a day then. Just try to get people to pay them for that. That's not easy, just to be clear. You got to get people to pay you for some patent that you have or idea you have. And they're not that, but if you're Google, you were trying to get at first Yahoo to use your your search engine algorithm. So this is low reward, and it's not clear. It's kind of like probably low investment, and it's probably the risk is actually not that low. It's probably medium because you control nothing. You're just trying to get other people to pay you. You're just a feature on their product. They have a lot of the leverage here. But if you just become the neckerchief company, it's more reward. Let's call it medium reward. But guess what? Now you need much more investment. You need investment. So, and therefore it's risky effort. In some sense it might be lower risk. But you need to get investment, and then you can get the reward. And so you'd have to do that. Now, the thing is, Google could have just been a website, and that's all they did. But that's not what they did. Google is a company. So now they do all kinds of things, right? And that took a lot of investment. But the reward is huge, right? And so Julie and Amy are very ambitious. And just to be clear, they want this. They do not want this. They do not want to be known as a neckerchief company. They're going to be Cheeky Chompers, a full-on company. And that's important to understand when you're thinking about the core, right? This is not just, if you're a product company, you just kind of come out with a good product and then you try to sell into somebody else who's going to be a company and be part of their portfolio. But that's not where they want to be. Just one other thing you should know. After they appeared on Dragon's Den, they sold 1 million neckerchiefs. 1 million neckerchiefs. That's a lot of freaking neckerchiefs. That's a lot of neckerchiefs. All right? So here's the thing is, oops, you're supposed to come up what assets do they have? What moats do they have? What core do they have? The worksheet also has a value proposition. I'm going to leave this up here and then try to figure out what assets from strongest to weakest, and then from strongest to weakest for moats, and then can you come up with a core? This is hard. This is hard. I'm going to give you, how about 12 minutes to do this. I would encourage you to look at the website and try to sort out what are they. Do you want me to play, do I need to play the video again, or is that, you got it? How many of you want me to play it again? You're on an island by yourself, Romanian woman. Oh, wait, you're Albanian. Yeah. All right, you got 12 minutes. Again, just as the process, just learn how to go through this because you're going to apply this to your company. And if you just give up to say, you can't, this is a goddamn bib, there's no competitive advantage, there's no core, that's okay too. But I want you to bang your head against the wall for a while, all right? Sir. All right, well, let's start working on it. Who thinks there is no core here? Right. It's just a freaking bib, right? Anybody can make this bib, can't they?
But they have a patent, can't
They have a patent. All right, well, let's talk about patents. But let's start off. Let's be positive here, right? Watch this. I'm an engineer. Ha ha. What assets do they have? Yes. Wait, we're going to go. Boom. I'll go quick. User interface. What the hell does that mean? What? Oh, so you're talking about Eric von Hippel. Okay. User innovators.
Good reviews.
Whoa, we got this is flying. Wait, no, user interviews. Wait, user innovation. No, look, user innovation by itself is not just good. Like, you don't go out and say, what's their asset? They're disciplined entrepreneurs. The question is more specific. What is it? They know the market. They have domain expertise, okay? And they came up with a clever idea, all right? And a clever idea. Okay? Now, so let's go. Yes, you haven't said anything all week, which means about 4 or 5 hours. Ooh, good teamwork. Chemistry on team. I like that. Where are you from, my friend? India. Okay. So that's some of that Modi magic coming through there, huh? Ma'am? Yes. Good design. It is actually a beautiful. How'd you know that?
We checked the website and saw products.
Yeah. And if I gave them to you in the class, which is really unfortunate, and you all looked at them, you would go, wow, this is nice. This is sweet, right? All right, professor?
Assuming established manufacturing arrangement.
Oh, yeah. They have established manufacturing arrangements. That is... They do teach you something at MBA school, don't they? Manufacturing arrangements. Okay?
As well as a good distribution?
Good sales, good distribution. Everybody got that? Can you be more specific?
In terms of having already sent distributors?
Yeah, they have John Lewis, they got all these other people. That's not trivial. That's not trivial. Yes?
As well as through their...
They have a sustainable and scalable business.
They have what?
Sustainable and scalable business.
I understand those words and put together. Okay, there's going to be more babies, so it's a good market. So, is that an asset that they have?
Yeah, because you'd establish trust, right? And they call themselves mompreneurs, so that's like established.
Wait. It's a good market. Is that really a unique asset to them?
No, but you would grow some empathy, right? I mean, it's like...
empathy?
Yeah, I mean, people would
empathy.
trust them because they are moms themselves. And
how do you know that?
No, they call themselves mompreneurs. They're like...
Yeah, so I call myself a mompreneur. What? No, don't back down. If I insult you, don't back down.
Because I would probably, and for example, it's like they're kind of connecting to the parents because, people would probably think that they are, since they're moms, they might, I mean, they wouldn't.
Empathize, maybe.
Yeah.
Empathize. Do you do that? Do you agree?
Like, there are women who are starting such kind of brands, and then they're like, oh, we are mothers and we know better, and we will connect to other mothers.
Yeah. That's huge. So, what? Not with you? No. So they are truly unique assets in that they are the only mothers in the world who can connect with other mothers.
It would be a plus point.
Wow. That was harsh, wasn't it? Hey, we're going to make you strong.
It's a plus point.
Okay, it's a plus point. Let's go. Consultant, you've been quiet since that initial onslaught this morning. I felt so bad. That was like, usually I insult people in short things, and it was like, oh, I should have asked you what you did. What?
I'm good. It's okay. Everyone else is for it.
Okay. Well, trust. No one has convinced me about trust yet, but yes?
Just to add to his point, trust can also come from word of mouth of other mothers.
Yes, go on. Now.
Mothers would tend to trust other mothers who know, and they recommend this product. Otherwise, they just...
Okay, now you're going backwards. I need specificity. Wait, Albania, you've had enough to say so far. It's brilliant, but we need to get other, yes? First mover advantage. There's 3 letters missing from first mover advantage. Just let's be clear. DIS, first mover disadvantage. Usually the first people into a market don't succeed. It's fast followers who succeed. So now, if you want to say first mover advantage, it's possible that they could gain something by being the first mover, but you have to tell me what it is, right? Sir?
The mother or the founder of the distribution partner is a user of their product.
Yes, that's domain expertise. Yes, ma'am.
Sorry, exposure and publicity, they beat on
Yeah,
TV and
yeah.
that's huge for the brand, and it's free publicity, and
Yeah.
it's like word of mouth.
Yeah, they've got awards. They were on Dragon's Den. Is that an asset?
Yeah.
Good publicity. They got spanked.
No, but still, people. I mean, you're being knocked off by an investor, but they're reaching out to people who are seeing Shark Tank. So.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're going to come back. We're going to come back to that. Yes.
Yeah, they have a wide variety of products as well.
Okay. They didn't at the time, but that's. I'm not going to put that asset up there. Professor, you've already given us some. You haven't. Patagonia.
I think like it just ties into trust, but it's this brand narrative, and that was something they expressed really well. And I actually think that ties into their core.
You're getting much, much closer. Like, you can't just say they have trust because they're mothers. There's lots of mothers out there. But the narrative, what in the narrative?
Products and why.
Yes.
That ability to communicate with other women.
Can everybody hear what he's saying? This is good. This is good.
Their ability to communicate with other women.
Yes.
That builds trust, that shows that they're doing this because they care about it.
Yeah.
And that also means that if I'm going to go into the shop, I'm going to pick that cheap Chinese knockoff.
Yeah.
For their products, I'm going to pick the one made by mothers.
Why?
Because they're making.
Wait, let him go on. Let him go on. He's made a lot of progress here. Take it all the way.
Well, they make it for the right reasons. I know that because I can see, because it's basically in their core that they show on their website and in how they acted even in that segment. You can see.
Good. So what's the assets? No, dude, goddamn, you start making it abstract. Specific. Say that again.
They are the assets in many.
Did everyone hear that?
No.
Don't start throwing about MBA words like brand and all this kind of stuff.
They're the assets.
Julie and Amy are the assets here. Or they are an asset. Being on Dragon Den, that's an asset. The trust is because Julie and Amy. And by the way, what you see there is what you get. If you have ever met Julie and Amy, they are so into this. And they are so authentic. It's not like Ellen DeGeneres when the light's on, whoa, they're great, and then the light goes off and there's a terrible person, right? This is like, this is totally the way they are. They are incredibly authentic.
Sorry. Ellen DeGeneres is a terrible person?
You heard it here. Just look it up.
Just to add to that, I think the fact that they're on Dragon's Den, the fact that you can see their body language.
Yeah. Okay, so let's stay with this. Dude, I got to give you some stickers for this. You're on fire. Can you pass these back? Yeah. So why was it so successful with them on Dragon's Den?
I think the fact that the dragons are so brutal with them. Yeah. And the way that they react.
All right, so wait, you're shaking your head. Wait, I have to get her. You're shaking your head. He said they were brutal. Were they brutal? He didn't notice that. They didn't notice that. Yeah, that's right. Because they're guys. They have no feelings at all. Right? Yeah. But did you think that those guys were jerks? See, all the women say yes, and you perceive that. That was unusually perceptive of a male. You know, that's about as useful as a carpet fitter, and the faces they were making and the condescending.
And a lot of times they have raised litigation against their competitors. Like one of their competitors is also Bootcamp, which is in US. They have a litigation. They are first thing what they did is they have patented their design. So
okay, I understood about 20% of what you said, but you said they have a patent. They have a patent. I want to come back to this. They have patents. Well, I don't want to lose the point that Patagonia is making over here because this is a really good point. And we're going to richly mine this in a second. Yeah, quick one. Yes?
Can I add on that as well? Especially with Julie and Amy. You have to consider when a mother's buying a product, what their ultimate thing is they want utter safety for their child.
Yes.
So Julie and Amy have designed this. They have thought about everything that they would want for their child. And one of the things on their website, one of the first things I thought of is the nutrition background. the way that their child is chewing. These guys have made it organic, so like everything that they have designed this for, it gives them more reason to trust because that is safe.
Yeah.
Best for their baby and it's best for your baby.
So yeah, so you're very perceptive here. You're going in, you're seeing how Julie and Amy are so concerned about trust. They're really, not trust, safety. They're not saying the word trust, it's safety. The standards are here, and their product is not going to meet standards. It's going to far exceed standards. Because my customer, we care about the safety of your baby, right? Someone else had their hand up. Yes? Like their husband, yeah. So, do you know can you give the exact, some examples?
There was a very clear, you mean?
In that?
Yeah, so there was a very clear one where the blonde one just smiled after the guy said something about the...
Oh, there's numerous ones. My favorite one is when Duncan's, what's the guy's name? Duncan Ballister, the one who's so offensive. And he's, what? Duncan Ballantyne? Bellantone, whatever his name is, the guy who's, one of the top 3 arrogant people there. He goes, oh, everybody comes in here and says, oh, if you sell that many, I'd eat them without salt. And then Amy leans forward and says, would you pay for them? And then the asshole goes, you wouldn't make me to. It's like, you make a stupid statement of that and you won't even say you pay for it? What a jerk, right?
But it showed integrity and it showed their values.
Yeah.
Very, very clear.
So did you like them?
Yeah.
So after you saw this, do you think it's an accident that they sold 1 million?
No, not at all.
Why?
Mothers everywhere could relate to them and
Yeah.
could say, I want to buy my
Yeah. So after these Shark Tank things, there's often a bump. This was a big bump afterwards. And this video is pure gold for them because their target market was so offended, they went out and bought them right away. And they bought them for their friends, and they bought them for anyone they could. They were pissed off, like you were pissed off. Were you offended by this? You're still pissed off about the frat bro.
Well, honestly, I thought that they were horrible at running a business and presenting their pitch was not well formed.
Yeah.
But they did solve a problem that all parents or all moms.
Yeah.
You drop the teething ring in the grocery store, and that's the thing that keeps the kid quiet, and you're just in trouble.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they solved a problem, but I personally can't get mad at the investors for saying, this is not well formed.
Yeah.
But general everyday America or wherever they are, I don't think will relate to that.
Yeah. So I'm going to do one more question here, and then we're going to start decoding this. Yes, my friend from Tech Monterey.
Yeah, I just wanted to add that also the stereotype is on their favor because, just continue the last idea, they are moms, and usually moms are not entrepreneurs. And the fact that everyone was watching the video, you just want to support her.
Yeah. So this gets to the point. All right. Now now we've done Lamborghini Volvo, we've done Sensible, we've done Dollar Shave Club. This is our 4th one. What's the first question you should ask whenever you think about a company? Boom, Zimbabwe, right? Zimbabwe for 100. You get that? All this is in the context of who is your customer? That's the very first question. And that's why I had at the top value proposition. And when I push you to value proposition for whom? Who is their customer? Now, watch, as soon as we start asking this question, all this shit's going to start making sense a lot better. Because you wanted an investor pitch. And she pointed out that maybe their customer doesn't care about an investor pitch. Right? And who is their customer? Parents, moms, yeah, moms. Moms is a place to start, but there's a whole bunch. We're going to drill this down a lot more specific, right? It's not any mom. This is really unfortunate because we don't have enough people here from England, because these personas, like the frat bro, you know that in the United States. If you're from the UK, you would know this persona.
Soccer mom?
No,
No, it's not.
Moms are completely different.
I don't know if you know the change, but these type of women would be shopping at Waitrose or Marks and Spencer's. They're in suburbs, generally live in maybe a semi-detached house, maybe BMW and Audi.
No, not a BMW or an Audi. But this is exactly what you should be doing, and he's getting close, but he's not in the demographic. But what car are they driving? No, Range Rover. This is the Range Rover mom.
And it's the kind of mom.
This is the Range Rover. Where do you live?
I disagree. In some respects, I think it goes to the lower tier middle class as well.
Well, you can disagree, but you're wrong. Let me tell you who their customer is, because I know who their customer is. Their customer, this is their words, not mine. So do not write in that I offended on this. I call it the Range Rover mom. They call it the yummy mummy, right?
The trendy ones.
The trendy ones. Yes, you get it?
They best playgroup and show off your clothes in the face.
Bingo! That's exactly it. They're going to get their Peloton. They're well educated. They're having babies later in life. They live in Knightsbridge. They go to the high-end stores. They meet their other well-educated friends, and they show off their babies. Right? And what clothes do they wear? High-end clothes, right? They got a lot of money. They're driving Range Rovers, and this is their customer, just to be clear. And now when you look at this and you look at things, you start to understand why safety, made in the UK, is that an asset? Why is that an asset? What? So for... Yes, they're showing off here. Yeah, maybe it's safer, but it's made in the UK. And now when it's made in the UK, there's something really, it's not only does your customer like it, but it does something very big here. What does it do? Yes? What? The perception changes, but what else does it do? It whacks out a whole big competitor, right? China. It's nationalistic, right? We're back to Brexit. Nigel Farage. No, it whacks out low-cost competitors from China, from Vietnam, from all these other places, because they're capturing the high end, right? And they will proudly go out and say, ours is made in the UK and designed in the UK. And so now all of a sudden, when you see this, these people are deeply offended by the jerks on there. And so it's not an accident that they're buying these things, and it's not an accident that they're paying 4 or 5 times more than any other thing that they buy. They're nicely designed.
Custom structure would be another asset, wouldn't it?
What?
Custom structure,
Oh, oops.
I would like to point out that with Yummy Mummies as a target, the fact that these are quite beautiful, like have a beautiful pattern.
So let me just go through and show you. Dragon's Den, that's an asset. If you don't understand that's an asset, this video, they love it. They actually did not even want to get funded. So they put the valuation very high. And it turned out to be better than they could ever have expected. Because this piece is a viral video for them that motivates their target customer to go out. This is their Dollar Shave Club video, right? This is their capturing lightning in a bottle. And now what are you going to do with it? Because this generated another tremendous asset that none of you mentioned. They got a shitload of customers. Is 1 million customers an asset? Not yet. Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
That it looked like they had designed an affiliate program as well, so they have moms making extra.
We'll get there. We'll get there. Bear with me here. I got 7 minutes to bring this to close. They got relationships with distributors. They got relationships with suppliers made in the UK. Julie and Amy are themselves a great asset, as Patagonia points out. And they have proven, not just hypothetically, 3x, 4x, 5x of premium price when lined up next to other people. They have design capabilities. They've gone up the learning curve. They have patents. They have 1 million customers, awards, happy customers. You all didn't focus on, some of you kind of touched on this. Do you remember when they said, but we get 20 pictures of babies every day and it keeps growing and people keep going. Our sales are, exploding. Their NPS is off the charts. Their net promoter score is off the charts. People who buy this are super, super happy with them. They have a community building around this happy customers that's starting to support them and believe in it. Like Paw in some ways. Actually, I'm not going to mention Paw. So, you see all these? This is what you would do. Now do you understand? All these are particularly either relevant, they're either out there or they're relevant once we know who their customer is. Now knowing who their customer is, which ones of these are strong and which are weak? Dragon's Den exposure. Strong, medium, or weak? Medium is correct because are other people who could do this? This by itself is not going to get you there. But it's not weak. I would give it a medium. Relationship with distributors. No, other people can do that. Distributors would do it. It's weak to medium. But it's something. It's not nothing. It's a moat. Suppliers, it's probably medium to weak, maybe a little stronger. But these people will throw you out if another one comes along. But there you're doing well. It's not zero to get there. Made in Scotland? That's medium, but it's an important one, especially when you think about it. Julie and Amy? Strong. That is truly unique. And you could hire some other actors, so it's not invincible. It's not the crown jewels, but they are a strong asset. Ability to get proven price, that kind of says we got a good value proposition. Design capabilities. This is when I asked Julie and Amy the first time, they said our core is design capability. To which I said, bullshit. You don't think there's somebody better in London than you guys? You don't think there's 1,000 people in London who are better designers than you that do this full time? There are. That's not your core. It's just valued by your customer, but you got a nice one and you put emphasis on it, but this is weak because someone could go out there and hire another one, they could come out with a prettier one than yours. That's a commodity almost. Learning curve, weak to medium. Patent, what do you think about a patent? It is a moat that is pretty weak. I wouldn't put it, it's not medium, but you have to back it up. They put it on there. You can look at all this stuff and see it right on their packaging. But how do you back up a patent? How strong is their patent? You need lawyers to do that. They don't have a lot of money. People ignored their patent and they couldn't enforce it because they need to use all their money to hire lawyers to enforce it. So you throw that out there, but it's really just a moat. 1 million customers, strong, medium, or weak? So this is strong if you play your hand right. This is when someone said first mover advantage. This is like you got an advantage if you can, you've got something, an asset, if you can take advantage of it to build off it. Awards, strong, medium, or weak? Medium to weak, you can always get awards. Happy customers? Strong, and combined with community, that's strong shit, man. That is really good stuff. So in this thing, we start looking through. Yeah, we're going to throw some moats out there. But Julie and Amy, 1 million customers, community, that's really where this is. Okay, so how do we go from there to a core? Now, this is hard, all right? You don't mind my swearing. Does anybody mind? I'll try to stop. What? Good. Okay. Anybody seen this movie? Joy?
Yes. It's great. Is this the one about the lady that sells stuff on the TV?
Yeah. So she herself is a mom. It's very similar to this. And she goes out and she builds a mop for mom. It's like she has this problem and she builds a mop very cleverly. And then the mop is really good. And she goes and tries to sell it. And they go online and somebody else tries to sell it and does a terrible job. And she goes, I'm going to sell it because you don't understand the problem. She gets on and freezes, but then she also says, this is what you need. And her authenticity comes through. And then she starts selling this thing, and she becomes an enormously successful entrepreneur, salesperson, builds a business out of taking other mothers' ideas and then bringing them to market and bringing them through her channel, the home shopping network or whatever it became. And she becomes that trusted platform. So you can see this if you want. I thought it was a great movie, but then when I'm up in a plane and there's low oxygen, I think everything's great, and I start crying. What did Joy do? What Joy did is there's a whole bunch of people who wanted her product, and she had a product, and she brought that first product to market as through building a trusted platform, her on TV. That platform benefited not just her, but then she started taking other mothers out here. Disaggregated means they're not all concentrated in one place. There are mothers all over the place who have good ideas, but they don't know how to get it to market. Joy became that person who could get the product to market. And there were a whole bunch of people out here who wanted such a product, but they weren't concentrated in any one place either. And so what Joy built was a platform to connect these mothers who had ideas to mothers who wanted to buy products. And that became Joy. This model right here is a very interesting model, isn't it? Does it remind you of anything else? eBay, Airbnb, Uber, go on and on. This is a platform strategy. Very, very efficient. Whole bunch of drivers out there, whole bunch of people who want that. Why don't we build a trusted platform? We'll stick it between here, and then people can do a lot better. Airbnb, whole bunch of people out there who have extra rooms, whole bunch of people who want to get rooms, but no way to connect with each other. Let's build a trusted platform and do that. What drives this? Yes, you need to be trusted, but it's then driven by data. Yeah, you need data. And so what happens is you build up data of who are the customers out here, and then who are the potential suppliers here. What happens for Cheeky Chompers is they just sold 1 million products. So if they have 1 million customers, they should be able to sell new products to them, whether they invent them or somebody else does. And once they do that, then they'll know what they like, and more people will buy it, and the data gets bigger. And then as the data gets bigger, more people want to sell through Cheeky Chompers or Joy, whoever, this trusted platform, and then they get more suppliers, and they get more data, and then as they get more data, they get more people who want to buy, and guess what? We've achieved networking effects. Everybody wants to get to networking effect, and very few people achieve it. What drives getting to networking effect is not the quality necessarily of your product, but it's your use of data. And in this, what should Julie and Amy do? They should get these customers. The Necker Chew is a hit. They've captured lightning in a bottle. They get on Dragon's Den. But what's the next product? They don't know. You know, the blanket's a good one, but why don't they empower other people to come up with ideas? And now they can if they have a ready-made market for them of Range Rover mums who are willing to pay a premium for products that are highly safe, well-designed, and they can help those people to do that because they've got the supply chain, they've got the distribution channels and the like, but they need that data. And this is why data is becoming so important. It drives everything. And you see, data becomes the central part of achieving networking effects. And let's go back to our friend Jeff Bezos. This is literally, you can go online and you can see, this is the chart that Jeff Bezos built for Amazon. There's no books in there. It just says, we're going to give people through e-commerce is generating a new world. We're going to give them a great customer experience. That will generate traffic. That will generate more sellers. More sellers will generate more selection. More selection will generate better customer experience, which will generate more traffic, which generate more sellers, which generates more selection. That's a positive feedback loop. Compounded by the fact that as you get more traffic, you get lower cost structures and lower prices. So now we don't have one feedback loop, we have two feedback loops. And what Bezos didn't, I think, completely understand, what will drive this is data as well. Because you will then be able to do that when other people can't if you get proprietary data. And that's why Amazon is so guarding about their data. They want to know everything. This is, in today's world, data is the new gold, all right? And the amount of data that is produced in today's world is increasing exponentially. In 2019, there will be more data produced this year than the entire history of mankind, going back to the abacus, to back when, as far as you can go. There will be more data collected this year by all the phones, computers, cars, IoT devices, you name it. There's just more data being produced than ever before. And by the way, it will be the same for 2020, and it was the same for 2018. The people who know how to work with data are going to be the winners going forward. Data is not a side thing, it is the main thing. I'm sorry, I just have to, time's up and I'm just going to finish this, but I'll take it at the break. People who know how to use data are going to be the winners in the future. This is why AI and machine learning is not just virtual reality. This is why MIT is now just put $1 billion into a college of computing to handle data. This is why Facebook and Cambridge Analytica and all this stuff is not going to go away. We're not talking about anymore just demographics and psychographics. We're talking about micro-targeting. That's precisely what the Russians were doing to change the American election. They would know what you want and what you want and what you want and what you want, and they would put a different message up for each of you. And with computing now, that's what with machine learning and the power of computers, that's what you can do. And so what's happened is, when I first started a long time ago in this business, right after electricity was invented, and I worked at IBM, competitive advantage was gained through hardware. And then it proceeded to the Microsoft era, where competitive advantage was gained through software. Today, we are moving to an era where competitive advantage is gained by data. Data is where the action is at. LinkedIn was sold in a furious auction for $35 billion. Might have been more than that, give or take, a few billion here and there. $35 billion. It was not because of their technology. It was not because of their user interface. It was not because of their revenue. It was due to one thing and one thing only: data. Microsoft was dying to get that data. Salesforce was dying to get that data. Google was dying to get that data. Apple doesn't like to make acquisitions like that, but I know they would love to get that data. That data is pure gold that they have, and they mined it. And so what should cheeky chompers do? They got to figure out, and they got to get those customers' names, and they got to get them on Facebook and get linked to them and start building micro-targeting customers to know what their customer preferences are. It's the data that's the more valuable. The moral of this story is, I usually pass out all these products, and everybody looks at the product and says, there's no competitive advantage here. It's just a silly baby bib. And that baby bib has distracted you from where the real competitive advantage is, because the competitive advantage isn't there, it's over there. It's what that bib does is gets you data, and to get this started. And that's why Amazon is going to rule the world, just to be clear. Because when you go into Amazon now, they make recommendations to you. Do you like those recommendations?
Yes. Most of the time.
Yeah, because it's a preference engine. I know what's going on, and I don't like it, and I still goddamn like those recommendations because it saves me time, right? And that's the game that everybody's trying to do, and that's what Facebook, and that's why Facebook is not going to lay down. Their advertisements are 75% more productive because they get your data. And it's the same thing with Google. So this isn't going away, and people seem to be fine with it, right? I don't know whether they'll be fine with it forever, but they're fine with it because it makes life better for them. And you, as entrepreneurs, need to understand data is an important part of the competitive advantage. And you should use it, hopefully, for good, but understand that if you don't, somebody else can use that, and they will. So core is a tough riddle, but if you get it right, it develops a strong core, and it will make you scalable. And this is where Chewy and this Dollar Shave Club again diverge. Chewy's got detailed customer records on what people buy and what they send back, and do they have cats and dogs, and how old are they? They're tracking all that stuff. That's why Amazon looks at Chewy and says, holy cow. That's why they're worth $6 billion, and Dollar Shave Club is worth a measly $1 billion. That's a little bit of sarcasm. But it's the data is not always the answer to your core, but do not overlook that. We had 25 teams that presented in Delta V. 23 of them had AI and machine learning as a key component of it. Only 2 of them, one that was doing a great social enterprise, and I forget the other one, did. But data is incredibly important. So again, what's the process here? When you're trying to figure out your core, who's your customer, what assets do you have, and now what assets do we have are strong, medium, and weak? How do we prioritize those? How do we think about that relative to our customer and the value proposition to develop a core, and do not overlook the data aspect of it. If you can get data, you will get network effects, and that's the goddamn best one you can have. Because that's a gift that keeps giving. It's really, really hard. And that, by the way, we mentioned about Uber. All the crap that Uber did, the problem, so a friend of mine wrote this thing, is will a toxic corporate culture and a lack of raison d'etre overcome the power of networking effects? Because once Uber got networking effects, it was just feeding off itself, despite all the nasty things they were doing, despite the kind of toxic culture. And it's kept them alive. So network effects are very powerful. All right, so at this point, do we have a break?